How's it going, everyone? Rachel West here, joined by Rick Stroud and Joey Knight, virtually, not in person this time. But guys, so yesterday the Bucs just were handed their first loss of the season from the Rams, and there wasn't a lot of good to come from it. There were a lot of injuries, guys out because of COVID. So what kind of impact did that maybe have on the game? And then looking ahead to the coming weeks, what's the status update on those guys, and are they going to be available?
Well, I can give you a status update. The three most significant injuries for Sunday were cornerback Jamel Dean, who went out early with a knee injury, pass-catching tailback Giovanni Bernard, who messed up his knee, kind of got flipped in the end zone on the last gasp touchdown late in the game, and Rob Gronkowski took that shot to the right side of his ribs. We won't have a definitive update on those guys until Wednesday. Players have the day off on Tuesday, and they return to full-fledged preparation for New England on Wednesday. So we'll get more of an update on those guys. But you can add Scotty Miller, the receiver, to the list. He's got a severe case of turf toe, according to Bruce Arians, and that's never easy to overcome. Anybody who's ever dealt with that or covered anyone who's dealt with that. As for the other guys, two players missed this game on the reserve COVID-19 list. Linebacker Kevin Minter and, of course, Antonio Brown, the receiver. Bruce Arians said he's hopeful of he believes Kevin Minter's ready. He'll be back. He's not sure about Antonio Brown. He's waiting to hear on his status. And Jason Pierre-Paul, he was on the injury list, had some shoulder issues, went out west to get it checked out, get some second opinions. Bruce Arians was not very optimistic that he'll be able to play in New England this Sunday night. He said, with JPP, nothing ever surprises me, but he did not express optimism that we'll have JPP back this week.
Well, I'm sure Bucs fans are eager to get some of those guys back, looking at yesterday. But Rick, what do you think is the actual level of concern? I mean, this is a team that just took its first loss in like 10 months.
Yeah, that's the good news, right? You got to have perspective. It's only 3 weeks into a 17-week season. So that's one way of looking at it. I think, though, they've played some explosive offenses, particularly teams that are well-stocked at wide receiver. When you have injuries in the secondary the way they do, that's obviously going to affect you, right? There's no way they're happy about, and Bruce Arians made it clear, he's not happy about the way they've been playing. The secondary, there were some breakdowns in communication. This is their third year under Todd Bowles. That should not happen. They have a veteran team. They brought everybody back. By the same token, sometimes they did communicate and they just played the technique bad. So there's some things going on and some things not happening, which is, he called out guys. He called out Shaq Barrett. Here's a guy that was a franchise player that got an enormous contract. He's sitting here now with 1 sack after 3 weeks, against teams that have thrown the ball 40 times a game. So they've got to step it up. I think he knows that. I think he's made them aware of it, and it is a concern. So in as much as you're only 2-1, you could be 3-1 by Sunday night, and everything seems okay. That there are problems, and most of them seem to be on defense.
And Joey, like Rick was saying, there are guys who haven't really pulled their weight yet, or at least what people thought they were going to coming into the season. So who are a couple of the key guys that you think might need to step up here?
Well, the heart of their defense, the strength, is right up the gut, where Devin White and Levante David reside, right at inside linebacker. Those are two guys. How many sacks does this team have? I think 2 or 3 in 3 games. They don't have any. I think they've combined for 1 pass deflection. They've combined, I think, for 5 quarterback hurries. They're getting their tackles. I think at this moment, they're the team's 2 leading tacklers, and that's what they're paid to do, and that's what any linebacker worth his salt does on a Sunday. But as far as the game-altering plays, splash plays, those are 2 other guys that just haven't come through yet.
Right. And so now as we move on into this coming week, headed up to New England, it's a whole different challenge that they're going to be facing. So Rick, what is this week going to be like for them?
Well, I mean, it's Brady Palooza, right? I mean, Tom Brady, after 20 years, leaves New England, ostensibly because he didn't feel like he was welcome there anymore. He becomes a free agent. at age 43 comes to Tampa Bay and he wins the Super Bowl, and he does it while Bill Belichick's team doesn't even make the playoffs. And now they have a new quarterback, they have a rookie, and they're struggling themselves right now. New England is, but this is an emotional game. It's an emotional week. I know Tom Brady will probably continue to downplay that whole situation. He'll continue to say great things about the time he had there, the friends he made, the championships he won. But as focused as he is, and he's a guy that wears his shoulder chips pretty big, whether it's being drafted 199 or whatnot. This is going to be one of the most, if not the most important game he ever plays. He'll never play the Patriots again unless he plays till he's 50. So to go back into Gillette Stadium in that atmosphere, I can't imagine what that scene's going to be like. He'll be warmly received, and then they're going to try to beat his brains out. But I think all the players on the Bucs know what it means to Tom Brady, and they'll have his full attention this week. They don't want him to leave Gillette with an L. He's going to come out of there as a winner.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be an interesting week, one way or another. Lots of eyes on the Bucs the whole week of practice, and especially Sunday night. So guys, make sure you're keeping your eyes on all of our coverage throughout the week leading up to the big game Sunday. So make sure you're checking out all of our social media channels, as well as the coverage we've got for you over at tampabay.com.